Opening day in Orchard Park, and it was a beautiful one for Mike Mularkey's first game as head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Mularkey's defense came out fired up. Off the Jimmy Smith drop, Nate Clements got the interception and put Buffalo in scoring position. Drew Bledsoe then found a wide-open Eric Moulds to give Buffalo a 7-0 lead. In the third quarter, Byron Leftwich found a mismatch with rookie Ernest Wilford matched on linebacker London Fletcher. The pass interference call on Fletcher set up a field goal. Up 7-6, and with a rare scoring opportunity, Eric Moulds put the ball on the ground. But Leftwich gave it right back as Izell Reese stepped in front of the pass and returned it to the 3-yard line. The Bills could only manage a field goal. Down 10-6 with 2:07 left, it was Jacksonville's last chance. Leftwich got it going with a 16-yarder to Troy Edwards. But then the Jags faced a 4th and 14. With the game on the line, Leftwich trusted in veteran Jimmy Smith, who made a circus catch to keep the chains moving. Facing a 4th and 7 with 4 seconds left, Leftwich, who hadn't played well until the final drive, connected with Ernest Wilford for the game-winning score. It was a miracle finish for the Jags, who stole the win in Buffalo 13-10. The Oakland Raiders hosted the Buffalo Bills in their 2004 home opener. With an electrified Raider Nation behind them, the Silver and Black unleashed its defense on Bills quarterback Drew Bledsoe. Bledsoe was sacked 7 times and struggled to keep any rhythm in the passing game, often forcing ill-advised throws. Although the Raider defense provided optimum field position, Oakland's offense had trouble cashing in. A 43-yard touchdown pass from Rich Gannon to Ronald Curry was the Raiders' only trip to the end zone. At the start of the fourth quarter, Oakland led 10-3. On 4th and goal from the 1, the Raider defense denied running back Travis Henry an opportunity to tie the game. After a Raider field goal, the Bills had the ball with just over 2 minutes to play. Bledsoe put together a 5-play, 57-yard drive to Oakland's 5-yard line. On 2nd and goal, Bledsoe found wide receiver Eric Moulds in the back of the end zone to bring the game within 3 points with a score of 13-10. With 1 minute and 27 seconds left on the clock, the Bills attempted an onside kick. The ball was recovered by the Raiders' Jerry Porter, and the Bills' hopes at a comeback were crushed. Norv Turner earned his first victory as a Raider with a 13-10 win over the Bills. In Buffalo, Tom Brady and the Patriots attempted to do what only 4 other teams in NFL history have done: win 18 straight games, a streak that spans over an entire year. Although the streak started without him, tailback Corey Dillon looked to become part of history with a 15-yard touchdown that put the Patriots up 7-0 in the first. Buffalo has a few new faces of its own, including rookie Lee Evans, whose 55-yard catch led to a field goal, cutting the Pats' lead to 7-3. Buffalo's special teams did its best to end the streak. After an Adam Vinatieri field goal, Buffalo defensive back Terrence McGee returned the kick 98 yards for a touchdown to tie the game at 10 at the end of the first quarter. Bills punter Brian Moorman also turned in a great performance, twice pinning the Pats inside their own 5 and running this muff punt 34 yards late in the second quarter. On the very next play, Drew Bledsoe connected with wide receiver Eric Moulds for a 41-yard touchdown that put the Bills on top 17-10. with just over 2 minutes remaining in the first half. But 2 minutes is plenty of time for Tom Brady, who quickly tied the score at 17 on a 30-yard touchdown strike to wide receiver David Patton. The score remained tied until early in the fourth quarter when Brady found tight end Daniel Graham for a 2-yard touchdown to put the Pats on top again, 24-17. After a long drive, Buffalo faced a crucial 4th and 3 on the New England 17 when linebacker Teddy Bruschi forced Bledsoe to fumble. Defensive end Richard Seymour returned the ball 68 yards for the game-clinching score. The 31-17 win pushes the Patriot win streak to a record-tying 18 straight games. Sunday, the New York Jets were looking to stay unbeaten against the Buffalo Bills, who were hoping to nab their first win of the season. And after a scoreless first quarter, the Jets caught the first break of the game early in the second quarter after a pass interference penalty in the end zone gave them a 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. Two plays later, New York was on the board as a 1-yard toss from Chad Pennington to Chris Baker put the Jets up 7-0. New York would then drive 53 yards in the final 2:05 of the half, and Doug Bryant gave them a 10-0 cushion by hitting a 37-yard field goal as time expired. Trailing 13-0 in the fourth quarter, the Bills seized some momentum when Jeff Posey intercepted a Pennington pass. Buffalo then drove 69 yards and pulled it within 13-7 on a 16-yard touchdown pass from Drew Bledsoe to Mark Campbell. On their next drive, the Bills took a 14-13 lead on a 46-yard scoring strike from Bledsoe to Lee Evans. The Jets responded with a 60-yard drive that landed the ball inside the Buffalo 25-yard line, where Doug Bryant connected on a 38-yard field goal to give the Jets a 16-14 lead with just under a minute to play. All hope for victory ended when Bledsoe's Hail Mary was intercepted on the last play of the game. With the win, the Jets moved to 4-0, while the Bills remain winless at 0-4. The skies have been cloudy all season for Mike Mularkey's Bills and Dave Wannstedt's Dolphins. An ill wind has been blowing over both their seasons as each team looked for their first wins on Sunday. It was linebacker Takeo Spikes that struck first, picking off Jay Fiedler and putting the Bills up 7-0 in the first quarter. After a Matt Bryant field goal got Miami on the board, Fiedler connected with Darius Thompson on a 24-yard touchdown pass to give the Dolphins a 10-7 lead at the end of the half. The Bills tied the score at 10 in the third with a Ryan Lindell field goal, then went ahead on a 5-yard touchdown pass by Drew Bledsoe to tight end Mark Campbell. The Dolphins drove 66 yards to Buffalo's 1-yard line, but the Bills stood strong, stopping Sammy Morris in the backfield and sacking Jay Fiedler twice, forcing them to settle for a Matt Bryant field goal to start the fourth quarter. Buffalo countered with a field goal of their own, making the score 20-13. With under 2 minutes left, Willis McGahee, in his first career start, took off for 31 of his 111 rushing yards to ice the game for the Bills. The 2013 victory earned Mike Mularkey his first win, while the Dolphins' loss gave them the dubious distinction of being the NFL's last winless team. On Sunday, the Ravens gave their fans something to shout about. Deion Sanders shook off 3 years of dust and intercepted Drew Bledsoe. Sanders took the ball 48 yards for a touchdown, the 23rd of his career, and gave the Ravens a 7-point lead. On offense, the Ravens were productive despite the loss of Jamal Lewis. Kyle Boulder led Baltimore on an 83-yard scoring drive, highlighted by a 47-yard Travis Taylor catch. Rookie B.J. Sam's 5-yard score put the Ravens up 17-3 at the end of the first half. Always the center of attention, primetime gave Ravens fans an encore performance, picking off Bledsoe again, and this time in the end zone. The Bills never got anything started on offense, with Bledsoe throwing 4 interceptions. Their only points came from 2 Ryan Lindell field goals. While Buffalo suffered from stage fright, the Ravens defense relished the limelight. Chad Williams' 94-yard interception return set up Matt Stover's second field goal of the day. In the Ravens' 20-6 win, the spotlight was on Neon Deion, whose star power added some extra wattage to Baltimore's defense. The floodgates opened near Ralph Wilson Stadium, and it was the Buffalo Bills offense. Last year's first-round draft pick Willis McGahee was eager to pour it on early with a 24-yard run. McGahee scored the Bills' first touchdown from 5 yards out, closing the first quarter at 10-0. Arizona hoped to end their 16-game road losing streak with a touchdown run by Obafemi Ayambadeo early in the second quarter, closing the gap 10-7. Late in the second quarter, Terrence McGee returned to kickoff for an 87-yard touchdown. One of the AFC's top returners closed out the half, putting Buffalo on top 17-7. After a brief drought in the third quarter, the Bills began the fourth quarter with a deluge by Drew Bledsoe that began with his touchdown pass to Eric Moulds. Bledsoe immediately followed with his second, hitting Tim Ewis for a 12-yard touchdown, widening the gap to 31-7. Buffalo continued to hold the field and the lead as new starter Willis McGahee scored his second touchdown and also ran for 102 yards on the day. With 4 minutes left, the Cardinals' Josh McCown made a valiant attempt to narrow the gulf with his first touchdown pass to Brian Johnson, but the Bills held on to win 38-14 for their second game in a row. Despite facing biting winds in Buffalo, the Bills were feeling warm and fuzzy as they took on the division-leading Jets. Buffalo's been a different team since the introduction of Willis McGahee into the starting lineup. His 12-yard touchdown gave the Bills a 7-0 first-quarter lead. New York rode the arm of Chad Pennington to a 6-1 start. Trailing 7-3 in the second quarter, the Jets maintained their composure, drove down the field, and took a 10-7 lead on Pennington's 6-yard touchdown to Justin McCarons. In his third start, McGahee posted his third 100-yard rushing game and tied at 10 at the start of the third quarter. He took the game onto his shoulders. Drew Bledsoe's 4-yard touchdown to rookie Lee Evans gave Buffalo a 17-10 lead. Against the Jets, Bledsoe may have had his best game of the year, completing 18 of 30 passes without an interception or a sack. On the other hand, Chris Kelsey's fourth-quarter sack knocked Pennington out of the game with a bruised shoulder. Pennington was replaced by Quincy Carter. Trailing 20-10, Carter's first play was not auspicious, as Curtis Martin was tackled in the end zone by Pat Williams for a Buffalo safety and a 12-point lead. Carter made amends on the Jets' next possession, though, rolling out and finding Santana Moss for a 51-yard touchdown, cutting Buffalo's lead to 22-17. Moss posted 157 receiving yards on Sunday. But the Jets' offense was denied a chance at victory. Bledsoe's 27-yard pass to Lee Evans helped the Bills devour the game's last 4 minutes. Measurable differences are being felt in Buffalo. With their 22-17 win, the Bills have recovered from an 0-4 start to win 3 out of 4. Sunday night, Drew Bledsoe returned to Foxborough with the Bills team hoping to gain some ground on first place New England. However, it was the hometown Patriots who had distanced themselves early as a 30-yard run by Corey Dillon set up a field goal and a 3-0 New England lead. Following a Bledsoe interception, The Patriots used a 47-yard pass from Tom Brady to Bethel Johnson to set up a second field goal and a 6-0 second quarter lead. Later in the quarter, New England scored the first touchdown of the game on a 13-yard pass from Brady to David Patton. An interception by Teddy Bruschi put the Patriots in position to add to their lead just before halftime. Following a 4-play drive, New England had a 20-0 lead after a 5-yard touchdown strike from Brady to Christian Fourier. Trailing 23-0 in the fourth quarter, the Bills briefly grabbed the momentum when Jonathan Smith fielded a punt and raced 70 yards for a touchdown. But the Patriots defense would dominate the rest of the way with a little help from wide receiver Troy Brown, who capped a 29-6 victory with his first career interception. The loss sunk the Bills to 3-6 while raising the Patriots to 8-1. In the city of Buffalo, fans have always prided themselves on giving the Bills a strong home field advantage. But early on, the visiting Rams were the ones looking right at home, going up 10-0 on an 18-yard touchdown to Isaac Bruce. The Bills got a much-needed energy boost from tight end Mark Campbell, who had caught only 10 passes this season prior to Sunday. Early in the second quarter, Campbell hauled in a touchdown from 10 yards out for the Bills' first score of the game. Later in the quarter, quarterback Drew Bledsoe called on Campbell again, this time for a 19-yard touchdown. He gave the Bills a 14-10 lead. Perhaps the most exciting play of the game was a classic flea flicker, with Willis McGahee pitching to Drew Bledsoe, who then found receiver Sam Aiken 54 yards downfield. The play set up a Ryan Lindell field goal that tied the score at 17 at the half. The Bills pulled away in the third, thanks in part to a third touchdown by tight end Mark Campbell. The hat trick put the Bills up 24-17, and Buffalo special teams did the rest, including an 86-yard punt return by Nate Clements and 2 Ryan Lindell field goals that stretched the lead to 37-17 by the end of the quarter. The Bills' defense stepped up in the fourth, limiting the Rams to only 35 rushing yards for the afternoon. Mark Bulger was intercepted 3 times in a poor showing to put the Rams back at 500 for the year. Meanwhile, the laugher kept the Bills' faint playoff dreams alive at 4-6. The Seahawks were trying to hold on to first place in the NFC West when they faced the Bills on Sunday. On Buffalo's first drive, a good second effort by Willis McGahee gave the Bills an early 7-0 lead. Late in the first quarter, rookie Lee Evans made a leaping grab for 24 yards that set up a Ryan Lindell field goal to put the Bills up 10-0. Great clock management before halftime allowed Drew Bledsoe to connect with Evans again, this time for a 3-yard touchdown and a 17-3 lead at the half. Buffalo reached into their bag of tricks at the start of the second half and recovered an onside kick. Unfortunately for them, 5 plays later, Bledsoe was intercepted by Ken Hamlin, who returned it to the Buffalo 40. 2 plays after that, Matt Hasselbeck returned the favor when he was picked off by Terrence McGee. This set up a Ryan Lindell 53-yard field goal. Lindell's field goal attempt was no good, but a leaping penalty on Seattle's Maurice Morris gave Buffalo the ball back. McGahee took advantage of the Seahawks' mistake and scored on a 2-yard touchdown run that gave the Bills a 24-3 advantage. Early in the fourth quarter, McGahee was at it again. On 4th and 1, a great fake by Bledsoe gave number 21 plenty of room to run, put the Bills up 31-3. McGahee wasn't done yet, though. After a Seattle fumble, he found the end zone for his 4th touchdown of the day and gave Seattle a 38-3 deficit. It was too little too late when Hasselbeck connected with Bobby Ingram for an 8-yard touchdown pass late in the 4th quarter. Buffalo went on to win 38-9 and hand head coach Mike Holmgren his worst loss in 6 seasons with the Seahawks. Mike Mularkey's Buffalo Bills entered Miami in Week 13, seeking their 6th win in the last 8 weeks, and Terrence McGee got them off to a fast start by returning the opening kickoff 104 yards for a 7-0 Bills lead. A.J. Feely quickly rallied Miami, throwing a 27-yard touchdown strike to Brian Gilmore. But Buffalo parlayed a Feely interception on Miami's following possession into a 14-7 lead when Drew Bledsoe hit Tim Ewis for a 15-yard touchdown. Feely tossed touchdown passes on each of Miami's next 2 possessions. First, a 2-yarder to Chris Chambers. Then, a 15-yard strike to Donald Lee as the Dolphins took a 24-14 second quarter lead. But all was not feel-good fist-pumping for Feely. He offset 303 passing yards and 3 touchdowns with 5 costly interceptions. Buffalo's defense generated 7 turnovers on the day, and Drew Bledsoe consistently made Miami pay for their mistakes. He found rookie Lee Evans for a 21-yard touchdown midway through the second quarter, then located the rookie again in the third quarter, this time for a 69-yard touchdown that gave Buffalo a 28-24 lead. The surging Bills have averaged 39 points per game over the last 3 weeks, and their offense continued its assault with a 30-yard Eric Moulds touchdown to push their lead to 35-24. Miami pulled within 3 on a fourth-quarter Travis Minor touchdown and a successful 2-point conversion. But Pat Williams clinched the Buffalo win by returning A.J. Feely's 4th interception 30 yards for the score. Buffalo's 42-32 win evens their record at 6-6, while Miami falls to 2-10. There's 3 seasons in Buffalo: winner, still winner, and Bills football. Cleveland rookie Luke McCown found that out soon enough. Luke, one half of the brothers McCown to start at quarterback on Sunday, seized a 7-3 lead in the first quarter with a 3-yard touchdown pass to Dennis Northcutt. Buffalo's Drew Bledsoe then responded in the second quarter with a 7-yard pearl to receiver Lee Evans, a rookie out of Wisconsin. It was Bledsoe's 5th touchdown pass in the last 6 quarters, and the Bills would take a 10-7 lead they would not relinquish. From there, Willis McGahee took command. The elusive tailback patted Buffalo's lead with a 13-yard touchdown scamper, and the rout was afoot by halftime. Even the stoic Bledsoe and the Bills' bad-weather fans found reasons to smile. On the other side, McCown was a real downer after throwing 2 interceptions. It was benched in the third quarter in favor of Jeff Garcia. Garcia fared worse, and the Browns finished with 17 yards and 5 fumbles, the last of which put the Bills on the 6 in the fourth quarter. On the next play, McGahee iced it with his 2nd touchdown of the game, which snowballed into a 37-7 victory to keep the Bills in the playoff race. He finished with 105 yards, Buffalo's 6th straight win, when McGahee posts a 100-yard day. Looking for a spark in Cincinnati, John Kitna was handed the starting duties against the resurgent Buffalo Bills. But it was Rudy Johnson that got things going for the Bengals with this 3-yard touchdown run late in the first quarter. The Bills fired right back on their next play from scrimmage as Drew Bledsoe hit Lee Evans for 60 yards on this fancy flea flicker. Bledsoe had finished the day 15 of 30 at 183 yards. Bledsoe capped off the drive by going back to his favorite target, hitting Evans for a 5-yard touchdown, tying the score at 7-7 with 4 minutes left in the first. The Bills' special teams continue to make big plays as Jason Peters blocked this punt, then recovered it in the end zone, giving the Bills a 14-7 lead. Buffalo opened up their lead when Takeo Spikes returned this interception 62 yards for a touchdown. The score gave the Bills a 2-touchdown lead, but a Bengals field goal closed the gap to 21-10 late in the second. London Fletcher added to the Bills' defensive efforts, recovering this Kitna fumble inside Bengals territory. The turnover set up one of 4 straight Ryan Lindell field goals. The series of kicks made it a 33-10 ball game late in the fourth. The Bengals trying to stay alive with a 4-yard Kitna touchdown pass to Matt Schobel, but it wouldn't be enough as the Bills rolled to a 33-17 win. The Bills have now won 5 straight and 7 of their last 8 with a chance to slide into an AFC wildcard spot. The 49ers tried to put a hamper on Buffalo's holiday spirits in Monster Park Sunday, but the only monsters in the stadium were the Bills and Willis McGahee, who played despite a knee injury. After a scoreless first quarter, McGahee put the Bills on the board with a 3-yard touchdown on the first drive of the second quarter. After a Ryan Lindell field goal, 49er quarterback Ken Dorsey lost the ball on a sack by Kevin Thomas as the Bills recovered late in the second. The fumble recovery led to Drew Bledsoe finding Lee Evans for an 8-yard touchdown to bring the Bills' lead to 17-0 at the end of the first half. The Bills opened the third quarter with a Lindell field goal before Nate Clements tipped and intercepted Dorsey's pass on the 49ers' first drive. McGahee then found the end zone again for his second rushing touchdown, capping a 102-yard effort on the day. Dorsey was replaced by rookie Cody Pickett, who didn't fare much better, as he too was intercepted, this time by Lawyer Malloy. With the game out of reach, Buffalo also pulled their starter, and Shane Matthews responded with a touchdown of his own to Evans, giving the Bills a 34-0 lead early in the fourth. The battle of the replacements concluded with a Shawn Williams 27-yard touchdown run, giving the Bills a 41-0 lead early in the fourth. The 41-7 win is the Bills' 6th straight and moves them one game closer to an AFC wildcard berth. The Bills were skating on thin ice in need of a victory against the Steelers and a loss by the Jets or Broncos to secure a playoff spot. Buffalo struggled early as Larry Foote recovered a muffed Bills punt, setting up Jeff Reed for a 22-yard field goal and a 3-0 Pittsburgh lead. Buffalo's defense responded as Nate Clements forced an Antoine Randall fumble. The Bills capitalized, and a 3-yard Willis McGahee touchdown run put Buffalo up 7-3. Randall L. atoned for the miscue on the ensuing drive, hauling in a 16-yard touchdown pass from Tommy Maddox. Trailing 10-7 late in the first quarter, the Steelers added to their lead as Foote picked off Drew Bledsoe to set up another Reed field goal. Maddox, who was filling in for an injured Ben Roethlisberger, also had difficulty through the air. Takeo Spikes intercepted the veteran quarterback in the second quarter. And early in the third quarter, he turned the ball over again. Clements picked Maddox off for a 30-yard touchdown return and a 17-16 Bills lead. Pittsburgh rallied late in the third quarter behind another backup. 4th-string running back Willie Parker, who racked up 102 yards on the ground, set up a Reed field goal with a 58-yard run. Early in the fourth quarter, Pittsburgh began pulling away as James Harrison's 18-yard fumble return for a touchdown gave the Steelers a 26-17 lead. Trailing by 12 after Reed's 5th field goal, McGahee fought his way into the end zone for a 1-yard touchdown run, but it wasn't enough. Pittsburgh clinched the 29-24 victory after Buffalo's failed onside kick attempt, and the Steelers' 15-1 record is a franchise best.